Did Benjamin Franklin really propose that a turkey, rather than an eagle, should be the national symbol on the Great Seal of the United States? Not exactly. In a letter to his daughter, dated January 26, 1784, Benjamin Franklin noted that the proposed drawing of the bald eagle for the Great Seal looked more like a turkey. He went on to say that perhaps the illustration was fitting, since a turkey is a more respectable bird than a bald eagle. He said that though a turkey is a bit vain and silly, it is also a native species with great courage who would protect its territory from invaders. He went on to criticize the eagle, saying that these birds were immoral cowards that liked to steal. While Benjamin Franklin's letter to his daughter suggests he had reservations about the symbolism of the eagle, it is a myth to say that this founding father truly felt the turkey ought to be America's national bird. If you've ever seen images of Santa Claus's reindeer, you know that they are always depicted with antlers. After all, the word reindeer means horned animal in Old Norse, a North Germanic language. Unlike most deer, both male and female reindeer grow antlers. Like other deer, reindeer shed their antlers and grow new ones each year. Males use their antlers to attract females and fight off other males. They usually drop their antlers after mating season in November or early December, and grow them back in the warmer months when the sun is out. Female reindeer, on the other hand, keep their antlers until spring. A female uses her antlers during her winter pregnancy to protect her food. Since male reindeer lose their antlers before Christmas, Santa's reindeer must be female. A team of researchers finds that shelling out for services that save time can bring greater feelings of life satisfaction than, say, simply buying more stuff. The results appear in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. It's safe to say that most of us regularly feel crunched for time. So much so that we are experiencing what Ashley Whillans of the Harvard Business School, the lead author of the study, describes as a time famine. And like any famine, this chronic lack of time takes its toll on our health. When we feel like our to-do lists are longer than the hours that we have time in the day to complete them, we can feel as if our life is spiraling out of control, thereby undermining our personal well-being. Well, if time is money, Whillans and her team wondered whether money that's used to buy time could offer some relief. Like paying someone else to clean the house, mow the lawn, or deliver the groceries. Executive Vice President of the U.S. Government's Overseas Private Investment Corporation, OPIC, David Bohidjian and other U.S. government officials traveled to Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia in August to in those countries. OPIC is the U.S. government's development finance institution. Its capital to help address critical development challenges and in doing so, promote U.S. investment mobilizes, private advances, U.S. foreign policy priorities. On August 14, the U.S. delegation met with Armenian Minister of National Security, Economic Development and Investments Artsvik Manasian. Within the past few minutes, the Election Commission in Kenya has declared that Tuesday's presidential election was won by the incumbent Uhuru Kenyatta. The opposition, which has complained fraud, leaders have rejected the results. An opposition spokesman described the process as a masquerade. World expressed concern of the war of words between Washington and Pyongyang over North Korea's nuclear program. After President Trump said the U.S. military was locked and loaded, North Korea accused him of driving the situation to the brink of nuclear war. Russia, China, and Germany have all appealed the calm and further diplomatic efforts. First, though, the U.S. government has released its monthly jobs report. It's one measure of how the economy as a whole is doing. The report that just came out is for the month of September, and it was a disappointment. Economists had expected that 479,000 jobs would have been added last month. The actual number was well below half that, according to the U.S. Labor Department. It was the second month in a row that the number of jobs added to the American economy was dramatically lower than what economists predicted, and no one knows exactly why the growth in this area has slowed down. Many economists point to continued concerns about the coronavirus pandemic and the Delta variant of the disease. Based on the strength of Earth's gravity and the density and strength of rock, in principle you could make a single conical mountain that stretched between New York and Chicago and soared over 45 kilometers. That's twice the size of Olympus Mons and definitely dwarfs Everest. However, there are a couple of reasons why we can't actually have that humongous of a mountain on Earth. For one, Earth's crust is made of continental plates that essentially float in the semi-solid rock of the mantle below. If you add more weight above the surface, they sink lower into the Earth's hot interior, and when they sink far enough, they soften and basically melt. For our conical mountain, that gives a new height limit of just 15 kilometers. As well, the powerful collision of two tectonic plates, which creates mountains in the first place, also fractures and cracks the rock, weakening its structure and exposing it to erosion. Over millions of years, freeze-thaw cycles pry at these cracks, while winds claw at the slopes and streams and glaciers carve deep valleys into the mountainside, all weakening the mountain's support. This can end badly. For example, 764 tall Aoraki Mount Cook in New Zealand had its top fall off one night in 1991, trimming it down to a 754 mountain. Given all the factors that conspire to limit the height of mountains, for example sinking into the Earth's mantle, fractures, and erosion, I wouldn't bet on our tallest mountains getting too much taller than they already are. There's growing alarm over plunging insect populations with climate change, habitat destruction, and pesticides all thought to play a role. But now, scientists say there's another culprit: artificial streetlights. Researchers from the charity Butterfly Conservation counted caterpillars at the sides of brightly lit roads. Compared with similar stretches of unlit roads, caterpillar numbers were reduced by half, suggesting streetlights can affect the abundance of insects at least on a local scale. The scientists say with insects in trouble, we should be doing all we can to reduce negative influences. But there are practical solutions such as dimming streetlights in the early hours, installing motion sensors, or using color filters to modify the light. Nature's instruments for survival can be a godsend until they begin to affect us in destructive ways. Someone's negative characteristics can cloud their favorable traits to such an extent that we cannot see the positive anymore. In our biased minds, this person has become purely evil. It's pretty difficult not to feel repulsed by someone who doesn't have any positive traits, let alone forgive them. So, we might want to look beyond the vast specter of negativity and see that the people we resent are also carrying good within them, and that it's human to possess both evil and
At the Smithsonian American Art Museum, you can see a large heart-shaped sculpture made of blown glass. The deep red-colored heart is topped with a burning flame also made of glass. It is called the Sacred Heart of Healing and was made by the artist Tim Tate. How did he make this interesting glass form? Today we answer this question as we explore the art of making glass. Throughout history, people from cultures around the world have been making glass. People first found and used glass made by nature. For example, lightning can create tubes of glass when it strikes sand that has the right combination of minerals. Glass pieces produced by lightning are called fulgurites. Obsidian is a kind of black glass formed when the heat of a volcano melts the silica material in sand. Ancient cultures broke off pieces of obsidian to make knives and weapons such as arrows. If you can read a clock, you can know the time of day. But no one knows what time itself is. We cannot see it. We cannot touch it. We cannot hear it. We know it only by the way we mark its passing. For all our success in measuring the smallest parts of time, time remains one of the great mysteries of the universe. One way to think of about time is to imagine a world without time. There could be no movement because time and movement cannot be separated. A world without time could exist only as long as there were no changes. For time and change are linked. We know that time has passed when something changes. There is something hard to resist about cherries. The small red fruit is a popular seasonal food around the world. In northern areas, cherry trees are just beginning to produce flowers. The cherry is a member of the same family of plants as the rose. It is closely related to the plum. Like cherry trees, plum trees also flower in early spring. Cherries are thought to be native to Western Asia. There are two major kinds of cherries harvested in the world, sweet and sour. Sour cherries are not eaten fresh because they contain little sugar. Instead, they are processed to make prepared foods like jellies and pies and to make alcoholic drinks. The United States is a major producer of sour cherries. Among the states, Michigan is the top producer.
Assignments must be submitted at the end of the term. Social policy is a study of social respondents for the government. Students can find news about climate change,